I like to tell the story this way about big data. There's this nice little paper written by some guys at Google on the unreasonable effectiveness of data. And there's two examples that came out of Google on this. One that I like to tell the most has to do with Google entering into the Arabic-English translation competition. NIST runs a competition every year for translating, automatic translation of Arabic to English. And it has been an academic competition for a long time, and some of the Lockheed Martins and Raytheons have their own versions of this. And we were, somewhere in 2005, we were about at the stage where we were approaching a real translation from automation. Not a very good one, we weren't quite there, and there were a lot of smart people working on it for a long time. And Google took a team that wasn't particularly the world's leading team in linguistics and translation, and they gave it all the translated documents they could possibly get from the UN and a huge repository of words in the English language so they could build a probability model. What is the probability that the word "a" is followed by the word "cat"? They count the number in all of English and they get a probability. And then they go off and they say, so if the direct translations of the individual words from Arabic to English as determined by all the published documents that have been translated are these, but there's multiple possible choices and interpretations, how do we pick the best one? Well, we're going to do a global maximization of the combined probability of stringing all those words together. It takes 1,000 computers, runs for a very long time. It's the first real translation of Arabic into English, done by a team that primarily had 100 to 1,000 times as much computing and even more data than their competitors had. And it drills home the notion that no matter how good your core competency is, if you are not studying all the data that you can get on your operation, on your customers' needs, on how you do things, then you are missing an opportunity to excel. And your competitor, if they're doing it, has an opportunity to excel. Right? And this is going to repeat itself all over the place. It's going to repeat itself in the science field. It's going to repeat itself in the, it's already the case in the internet services to try to understand your customers by analyzing data better. It's going to repeat itself all over the place. So once people understand that having data gives them an opportunity to have a competitive advantage, they're going to collect huge amounts of it. Sensors are getting quite cheap. So physical and virtual sensors, recording everything that goes on electronically, recording everything that they can capture from sensors. There's going to be a phenomenal amount of this generated, and so there's a problem coping with all of that data. And big data is one way to see the answer to the deluge of data. Big data systems are the ones that are going to handle that. It's important to understand that big data is not just can you store big data. Big data is really what can you do with big data. So it's not only the ability to store it, it's the ability to process it, it's the ability to extract useful information, which is why machine learning people are very much into big data. Right? And it's the ability to turn that into your business again, capitalize on it. So big data is many things. It is certainly a substrate for being able to capture, write, store, and preserve big data. And I want to finish just by saying that this is a gigantic trend. It's going to be, our view of clouds is really private clouds for big data. That's what is going to be interesting. The cloud for outsourcing for how to store your pictures at the lowest possible cost isn't probably interesting, and the clouds for outsourcing your web servers to execute the same small thing isn't probably a great market. But private clouds of big data do very much appeal to our core technology and where we're going.